Continue apace with this conversation, just looking at the gospel space in the country, how the industry is looking like, and my guest is still here, Jesse Maringa, gospel minister. Let's just start from that part now.
Yes.
You describe yourself as a gospel minister.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the difference between an artist and a minister?
That's a very good question. I've had that asked before. And I'm not going to give you like dictionary description, but I'm going to be as precise as I can.
Yeah.
An artist, just broadly, is basically a performer of music, a performer of a talent. You have a talent, you've practiced your skill, your trade, and you come and present it as a performance. Some go an extra notch and go, if you go the secular way, they become entertainers. So they use their skill and their art to perform their songs or their art or their spoken word to entertain people. That's an artist. He's a performing individual with a skill or talent that they perform to entertain or to bring people to a state of merry and joy. They entertain, they make people happy.
So basically this is just performing. It's a performance.
Now the gospel side tries to avoid being called performers, but some biggest chunk of popular gospel artists end up being lured into performing. Performing is where you are coming in to make sure that your song or your dance ministers to the body of the person, the body that wants to dance and do a little jiggle. You make people happy. Yeah, you're here to make people happy and scream just like a regular concert. That's performance. Gospel artist who is performing. So it's all about performance. Now there's some gospel artists now who are actually worshippers, and people like Sarah Kay, people like Masika. Those are worshippers of the Lord, and they focus on mostly bringing people to the throne room of God in their ministry. They're not going to try to make you dance and jump and scream. They want you to actually make you reverence the Lord during their music presentation. So those are more gospel artists who are worshippers. Or the others who are praise and worship leaders. There's a lot of categories. A praise and worship leader is a gospel artist who has a talent to lead a congregation in worship during a church service or an event. Those are the ones who can lead along with a big choir or a small choir. Those are worship leaders. So that's the levels. Now when you come to the other side of a gospel minister, those tend to be people with dual giftings of music and the word. They can sing and preach, or they sing and preach.
Just allow me to butt in, Jesse. Now that you're saying, when you talk about gospel, these are people that have the dual gifting. They can sing and preach. And I mean, basically what you're saying is that they can sing and give you the word. So then, does this mean that gospel artists do not have the word? Just clarify. Gospel
artists, a lot of them who, if they study their word, they have a word. But their calling and their fans are not expected to come on stage and preach. So they spend most of their bulk of preparation preparing their songs, their dance, their skill. They don't come in saying, I'm going to preach for 30 minutes today. They're not preachers. They know they're not. So they focus on what they're good at. Now, when you're a minister, you actually know as soon as you become a Christian, you realize, hey, I've got both gifts. I like to preach, but I also like to sing. How can I do both? So as you keep growing in God and learning the word of God and working on your skill and your talent, if you do it the right way with God guiding you, both talents grow simultaneously. They don't conflict, they actually complement. Let me explain what that means. You've seen a pastor who comes on stage, especially in America, they start by singing an amazing song, but they came to preach. They're preaching, they're the visiting pastor today, but he can sing so good. So what he does is, he will sing his song, maybe most likely a worship, to bring Nigeria. Very common Nigeria and US. Kenya is not as much. It's there too, but not as much. So they're going to sing and lead the people to the presence of God. Get you to the point where you want just more of God. You want to hear more of God. And then they say, now let's look at the word of God. So they have both giftings and they make them complement each other. So one feeds into the other. And that's what I do. Every time I speak, if I'm given 10 minutes, I'll probably do maybe a 5-minute song and a 5-minute little speech. I'll talk about the song and how it's relevant to the place I am and the time I am in. So if I'm in a Kenyan church that's a village struggling so much with health issues, I'll probably have a healing message for them. And so that's what a minister does. You sense the moment. So if I come to an event in Kenya to minister on KBC or at a big rally in Uhuru Park, I won't just come and sing. I'll pray for God to give me a word for that city at that time, at that day, so that my singing is relevant, and I'll also have a word to encourage the people.